Alright, so this is a review of the Feelworld L4 multi-format video mixer, L4 video switcher, this thing that came in this box. Now it's going to be a one take, probably, so chapter marks are your best friends, or grab a cup of coffee if you have some spare time. Now, I'm not going to edit this much. There is, however, a method to the madness. I'm thinking round about 3 parts. Part number 1, I'm going to show you all the tech that I'm using and how it's connected. Part number 2, the interface of the unit itself and of course its connections. And then part number 3, a quick tutorial. Well, not even a tutorial. I'm going to show you really quickly how to set it up in OBS so you can use this as a webcam and live stream using a computer. And then to wrap it up, my quick conclusion. So really quickly, let's go through the tech. Obviously, centerpiece, the L4 multi-format video mixer, has a nice 10.1 inch touch display, but also has physical buttons. So it's kind of an in-between between purely touch operation and purely physical buttons to operate, which I like. I do. There's a lot of redundancy here, but we're going to get into that. This right here is my laptop that I'm using to record the program out right now. This is simply camera control. This is my tablet. I've hooked it up to my A-cam, the FX6, making sure I'm getting what I need and everything is set up correctly. Then over here, that's my production monitor that I feed the program out to. This is my third camera, A7 III, that's connected via wireless video transmission. That's the transmitter. This right here is the receiver. My top-down shot is an FX3. My A camera is the FX6. Then right here, I've connected just to show you that it's possible, another audio source, little shotgun mic. And I've connected my headphones for monitoring. Now let's take advantage of that third camera. Come on. So show you around the table real quick. Fill light, production monitor, headphones, centerpiece, the L4 switcher, video transmission, FX6 A-cam, tablet for camera control, shotgun mic, laptop, and top-down shot, which is the FX3. Let's take a closer look at the device itself. Let's switch back here real quick. I have to set that camera up so you can see something. And I'm currently looking at the preview feed. I'm going to turn this to manual focus. And I'm going to make it a lot brighter, of course, so you can see what's going on. There we go. Now I am switching. So that's the side of the L4 switcher. And as you can see right here, USB-A connection. Use a thumb drive, put the firmware on it to update the firmware, or put a PNG file of your logo on it, import it into the L4 and have it show up wherever you want. More on that in a moment. Then this right here is a 1/4 inch thread. You're getting the same thread on the other side. So if you're using this as a tabletop setup, there's no need to connect anything here. But if you were to use this on, let's say, a little tablet on a tableau on a C-stand or whatever on set, and you didn't have a large table, you could use this thread, for example, to hook up the video transmission receiver. I'm not using it right now, but I like that it's there. Then right here, let me set the focus. On-off switch and the grill for the active cooling, for the fan inside. Now that's another thing. This L4 multi-format video mixer isn't silent. It's quiet, but not silent. And if you're sitting right in front of it using a lavalier or a shotgun mic pointed at you, most likely, if it's a sensitive shotgun mic or your lavalier is leveled correctly, you're going to pick up on the fan, I don't want to say noise, the sound the fans make. So if you are doing a live stream, that might be a problem to you. It might not, depending on what you consider noisy audio or noise. You could work around that using something like a Sound Devices Mixpree that has the voice isolation noise reduction plugin built in and is able to apply that live. Or of course, if you're not live streaming but you're doing a multi-camera recording, you can absolutely take care of that in your editing system. Any mediocre voice isolation will take care of this. Now it's kind of a higher pitched hum. It's not a low pitched hum, so I don't think a low cut filter inside a mic is gonna necessarily take care of all of it. Just a thought. But voice isolation inside your editing software or a good voice isolation plugin inside your recorder will definitely take care of that. Now, let's take a look at the inputs and outputs at the back side of this whole thing. Just let me work this right so I can show you. And there we go. I'm gonna do the rest with manual focus. We can make that a bit darker. So right here, DC input. Then we got 3G SDI in and output. So if you're using cameras that only output via SDI, this switcher can take them. And if you're using a monitor that only accepts SDI, you also have an output right here, and you can send the program out to that monitor. Pretty cool, because a lot of those systems only offer HDMI. Next up, the HDMI in and outputs. Now, this one says program out. You can also set this to the multi-view out, depending on what you need. With HDMI, that's possible. With the SDI out, it's not possible. You can only send the program out of the 3G SDI output, but not the multi-view. With HDMI, you can choose between program out or multi-view. Then, of course, there's the HDMI inputs for 3, 2, 1. Then there's USB control. Now, currently USB-A cable connected to my laptop. Now, if you're running a Mac, there is software for the L4 switcher, which basically mirrors everything you can do on the unit itself, on the software side. So technically, there you get USB control. But if you're running a PC, you're out of that option. That software isn't available for PC. In that case, it's not USB control, but it still serves as a USB connection to get the program feed of the L4 as a webcam signal. So you can use it with OBS, you can use it with Zoom, you can use it with anything you would use a webcam for. And that's how I'm using it right now. The laptop is connected via HDMI and gives me its video feed. Then the whole program feed of the L4 is connected to the laptop via USB and allows me to record it via OBS. That's how this is set up. Then, of course, there is the monitoring for the headphones. This is a 3.5mm headphone out. And I've currently hooked up these things. I'm going to show you how to monitor later. So it's simple 3.5mm connection. And then right here we get the audio in, another 3.5mm connection for an audio source. And currently I've connected this simple little shotgun mic right here. And these are all the inputs. That's the backside of the unit. So let me set this one up again. Yeah, like this. And obviously turn on autofocus again. So this actually serves me as a third camera. Yeah, okay, there we go. So that's the unit itself. Now let's dive into the user interface. Now on the top, you can see your preview feed and your program feed and all your video feeds on the bottom. HDMI 1, 2, 3, 4, and SDI. which also operates as a feed, but is pretty useless right now, obviously. Then on the bottom half, you have the menus. You can navigate the menus via this knob by turning and pushing in to enter the respective menu. And if you want to get out of that menu, you hit the menu button, then you're back in the selection for the main menus. You can also use touch. Now, the very first menu is kind of a, well, image adjustment menu where you can dial in what you're getting further. For example, let's say I don't like the top-down feed. I like it a lot, but let's say I don't. I select it into the preview feed, and then I can change the brightness by tapping in steps of 1 or by tap holding, going quicker. From 0 all the way to 100. I can do the same thing with contrast. And even with red, green, and blue. And if I totally, and this is what this would look like. And if I totally messed up, I would turn this back into the preview and select reset. And there we go. So if you get lost in your image adjustments, reset is your best friend. Now let's select the different one as preview and move on to the next menu. This is where you can configure the preview. You can even have it as a main video source, which is just going to put each video source as is into the preview feed. But you can also select picture in picture, which gets you this option. Pretty simple to set up. You select the main camera and so you select the sub camera, that which shows up in the preview feed. Let's say I want to show you my top-down shot, but I also want myself in the shot. So this is how I would set up this preview feed. Now, something that I don't appreciate too much is that actually, number one, there is no flip option because as you can see, the top-down shot, I'm going to turn it in my editing software, but actually the top-down shot is bottoms up because my camera is mounted this way. Now I could mount the camera in a different way, but it would be super simple to add an image flip in both directions, horizontally and vertically, for each of the inputs. That is something that in a future firmware iteration really should be part of the firmware because this is super useful and actually it's in basically every other system I ever used, so I don't know why they didn't integrate it here. It's a software thing, it's easily addable, so I hope they do. Anywho, this is how you set up picture in picture. Once you're happy, there you go. You now have your picture in picture. Also works obviously with other combinations, right? That's how easy this is. That's picture in picture. You can further customize it, going to the center, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Something else that you can't do is choose the size of the picture-in-picture video feed, because I would like to make it smaller. This takes up a lot of real estate. I don't see why it necessarily needs to take up 25%. Again, something for a future firmware update that would be really useful. The ability to increase or decrease, probably most often decrease, the size of the picture-in-picture feed. Then you can tap exchange and it's going to switch main and sub camera. Yeah, and that's how you do picture in picture. Now you can also set up a key. How that's done, I'm going to show you right now. Picture in picture. Let's go back to main. Yeah. Let's set up a key. And I need a prop for that. And I'm going to use this. Wait a second. I'm going to use, oh, come on. I'm going to use, what do I want to do? Wait a second. Let's go to main. Yeah, like this. So to show you how a key works, I'm going to use this prop. Looks like a PiP, but it's the best I can do right now that actually And it's actually easy to show it to you this way. Now, to most people, keys seem kind of sketchy. That's because a lot of systems implement them kind of counterintuitively and kind of in a complicated way. This one doesn't. Keys are pretty simple right here. So let's do a key. But first, let's switch back to my top-down shot. Okay, and let's do a key. So select key, then select background and body. Background is what's going to show up inside the key. And I want, let's say, HTML4, so my laptop, to show up inside the key. And as the body, I want my ACAM. So this is how I select it. And the key already works quite well, but this is usually not how you start. First, you would turn the key off and then pick. And you can see the little square right here. And I'm gonna place it smack dab in the middle of this green fabric right here. And then I'm gonna turn the key on and see how well it does. And straight up, it does really well because I've set it up previously. Usually the tolerance would be at around 50 or 60. And this is what this is gonna look like. Now, what is tolerance? First of all, let's reduce it to 0. Tolerance means how far off the actual color that you pick is still considered to be part of the key. If tolerance is very low, almost nothing but the exact color is part of the actual key. If you up tolerance, more tones of green actually start belonging to the key, and usually the result gets better. Currently, it's set to 0. So let's up it one by one until the results are cool. And now they're already pretty good. So I'm gonna make this, my main feed. Now, and this is how easy this is. Select the background, which is what shows up in the key. Select everything else, and then pick the color. And make sure your green screen is lit evenly. Doesn't even have to be bright, but lit evenly, so tolerance works better. And there you go. You got your key. And that's how easy this is. Now, we don't need the key any longer, so I'm going back to main, going back here. And for now, we don't need the PiP any longer. But that's how easy you set up a key. And it works. It's one of the hallmarks of this system. It's not ultra feature-rich on the software side compared to other systems, but what it can do, it does well. It does so in a stable way, and it just doesn't give you any grief. You basically hook everything up and it works. And that's really a selling point if you're looking for the kinds of live streams and multicam recordings you can do with this system. If you need a lot of fancy stuff like lower thirds and image overlays and the combination of all of this with, I don't know, elaborate multi or split screen views, this can't do that. Maybe if they come out with a software for PC and they really update that software, it gives you the ability to pre-configure assets like multi-views with lower thirds and such, which then are available. But as of now, that's something you're not getting with this system. What you are getting is a stable multi-camera video switcher. Now, let's move on. Audio. Main audio, HDMI number 1, because this is the shotgun mic that's connected to my ACAM and it's the best audio source. I can select every other input as well as audio follows video. In this case, let's switch between these two cameras. In this case, if audio follows video, if you switch the video feed, the audio feed will switch with the video feed. So right now you're listening to the shotgun mic. And right now you're listening to the internal mic of the A7 III, which is an internal mic which is much louder and of worse quality. This is what audio follows video does. I want my shotgun mic to be the audio for all other video feeds. So no matter what video feed I switch to, I always want the best audio for my program out, my best audio for my viewers and listeners. I can add or I can up or lower the volume, but my tip would be to take care of that inside the camera or inside the audio controls of the camera, because the preamps of the cameras, the preamps even of a budget camera are going to be better than the ones in here. You can also mix audio with your main audio. Oh yeah, and one where audio follows video is really useful if you're doing like a multi-person interview. Everybody has their own camera and their own high quality audio, and you want to switch to the person that talks. Everybody has a lavalier, for example. Then audio follows video obviously is awesome. You can also turn it off completely, or you can switch to audio, which is this audio source that you connect via the 3.5mm input. Again, I like audio number 1 because it's the best one. I can mix audio with my main audio, but I can only select one source, which is a bit of a shame because, I don't know, it might make sense to mix 2 other tracks in with my main audio. I can only select one here. The cool thing though is, this is something that I would maybe use this for. I could hook up the laptop via HDMI 4, select HDMI 4 as mix audio, and then run some type of license-free background music on YouTube or wherever on the laptop and mix that in at the appropriate volume with my nice shotgun audio. So I'm kind of getting background music. That's a cool way that this mixing audio could be used. I don't need any of that, so I'm turning it off. Then earphone, that's actually monitoring. You can select every video source and every audio source right here. Just pick the one you like. I obviously just monitor the one that I'm using, which is the one from HDMI 1, the shotgun mic. But before everything starts, just to make sure you're getting audio from all the sources you can get audio from and it levels correctly, this is where you would set this up. Now these two right here, I checked the manual. It explains what these two options do, but they don't work the way it says in the manual. So I'm going to show you right here what the manual says. Should you figure out, or should I figure out what this actually does? I'm going to let you know in the comments. If you already know, let me know in the comments. Okay, next. Transition effects. Now, select the effect. For example, a fade. Cut method, I'm going to jump over that. I'm going to tell you in the end how that works. So select the cut effect, select the cut duration. It's not a cut, it's technically a transition. So select the transition effect. I really like a swipe from the left that is also feathered by default. And select the transition duration all the way from 0.5 seconds, so half a second, all the way up to 5 seconds. So you can transition in auto mode really quickly or really slowly. Obviously, if you want to go faster than half a second, you could use the T-bar and go like this. What you could also do if you wanted to go longer than 5 seconds, you could go super, super slowly, which doesn't really look nice, but technically you have that option. You can tap cut to override any kind of transition effect that you've set up and still just do hard cuts. And the same thing you could do by pushing this button, the cut button. Okay, now let's take a look at the AB single direction method. If I select this, and now as the preview, I select HDMI 2. And if I switch back and forth, the image stays the same. Preview doesn't change. Now, why would I need that? For example, if I want to add, during the live stream, a picture-in-picture to my top-down shot, I need the top-down shot in the preview mode, or on the preview side, which I can't get if I select A to B, because these always would switch. Now, I can go to picture-in-picture and add myself in there. And if now I switch, all that's added is the picture-in-picture, but my original top-down shot didn't change. And this I can only do with the cut method or the transition method of A to B single direction. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible. Okay, now let's take care of the picture-in-picture. Going to main. Yeah, let's take care of that picture-in-picture and come right here. So that's the cut method. Usually you don't need that, but you just saw how you can add a picture-in-picture without changing the actual program main camera. Now, information menu, DHCP on and off. If you turn that off, you can select your IP address. If you're on systems that require you to be within a certain IP range for security reasons, this is where you can set this up. Audio bars, you can turn them off or on. Me personally, I like the visual feedback. I know I'm getting audio. I know it levels correctly or it doesn't level correctly. And it doesn't annoy me watching it. If those annoy you, you can turn them off. I really like the visual feedback. Histogram, same thing. You can turn histogram on and off. Now it takes up a bit more real estate than I would like it to. But if you're in an environment where it's hard to judge how good an image is exposed, the histogram will give you visual feedback, technical feedback on whether something clips or not, or on whether something is, has a tendency to be underexposed or overexposed. So I like that the option is there, but I'm not in an environment right now where I can't judge the image, and I know it's set up correctly because I dialed it in inside the camera. So I'm turning this off. Now, if you mess everything up because this is the first time you're setting this stuff up and everything's jumbled, just come to System Reset and it'll take care of it. T-bar calibration. Well, you could reduce the travel of the T-bar to, well, not the full travel distance, but half of it. You could say start, then define this as the top, define this as the bottom, and now the transitions would work within this range. To me, it makes more sense to use the full range. So up top, next, all the way down, next, and complete. There we go. Then of course, language, English or Chinese, well, select accordingly. Last menu, HDMI output. So the output right here that currently goes to my production monitor right there. I can choose the program out, which is the actual feed, or the multi-view out, which is this whole stuff. So you could output the multi-view to another monitor if you wanted a second pair of eyes to, monitor everything. Usually, if you're monitoring, somebody else, like the client, for example, gets the program out. This is where you can set this up. So this right here is where you can set this up. Program out format, 720p, 50 and 60 Hz, 1080p, 25 and 30, 1080p, 50 and 60. These are the options. I'm in PAL country, so 50 Hz it is, and I'm going for 1080p. Logo on or off. If I turn this on, this is where it shows up in this corner right here. Now this says L4. You could put a PNG file of your logo on a thumb drive, hook it up, import it, and then place it wherever you would like it. It's a cool option. I didn't go through the trouble of doing that, but it's available. And this is the functionality. And that's how easy this is. Now, before I come to my conclusion, we're already in about 35 minutes. Let me show you how to set this up in OBS. And I think I'm gonna have to use my camera number 3 because I'm not quite sure if I can set it up while I'm recording. I don't think that's possible. Let's see what happens. Camera number 3. Here we go. Let me set this up. Let me set it up. Let's put this into the preview feed so I can. And actually that works. That should work fine, actually. Okay, so here we go. Pretty simple to set up. Once you're connected via USB 3 to your computer, open OBS, create a new scene, call it, I don't know, L4, and yeah, okay, the recording stopped. Well, and then add a video capture device. Let's call it L4 USB video. Come on, USB video. Select OK. And then instead of integrated camera, select Feelworld USB 3 capture. And select OK. And since I'm already recording, this is what would show up. Good, so conclusion, to wrap this up. Now, there are systems that are way more feature-rich on the software side. For example, you can do very elaborate asset configurations. I might have already mentioned this, like the combination of a lower third with a full screen overlay, a super source, and multi-split screens, like 3 to 4 camera split screens. Then save this as an asset and just select it for your program, for your feed later on. With this, you can't do that. Also, there's no image flip, which I would really appreciate, which honestly is only a firmware update away if they want to do that. Then there is no way to record internally. So you cannot select the USB, for example, and have all your feeds, or at least the program feed, also recorded through the USB out. You can, however, hook up a computer and use, for example, OBS, or if you're streaming to a platform, use that platform to record your stream. But there's no such thing like recording each individual's video feed. So that would be cool in a future iteration of this product to add the recording feature. Then also a lower third would be nice. But enough criticism. What I really like about this is the operability, the usability. Having touch capability as well as physical buttons is awesome. It's quite simply easy to operate. It doesn't give you as many features, as I said, as other systems, but the features it does give you are extensive enough so you're getting a really nice result. Also, this is not going to overheat. Basically, the technology, the tech side, is so advanced, so stable, that it just doesn't give you any grief. Once you hook up all your cameras and you make sure they have power and they're giving you a feed and the microphones are set up correctly, it'll just work. And it'll just keep running. And that in and of itself is super important. That you're getting a stable system, a stable centerpiece that, you know, combines it all, allows you to mix it to your preference, and then just does its job. And that's really what this thing accomplishes. It has SDI, it has HDMI. You can hook up, you know, a lot of audio to this thing. You can mix it as well as I would like, but again, less options sometimes is better, because the options that you do get are 100% stable and easily to set up. So L4, latest iteration of Feelworld's multi-format video mixer. Pretty damn good. Big touchscreen. Excellent for multi-view. Big enough for sure. Operation is easy, and the thing just works and works and works and works. I'm happy with that. A lot of other systems that are more complicated and give you way more features are not as stable. This is stable, and that's like the biggest selling point to me. And really, more important, I would like to have more features, but if I had to decide between more features and more stability, I would always go for more stability because it just makes you look better in front of a client. And it'll preserve more nerve tissue, more nerves, because you're not going to have to do things over and over and over again because something messes up. Yeah. Okay. That's it for this video. If you liked it, if you found it helpful, please make sure to leave a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. Any kind of comment or feedback is welcome, and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. All the tech that I've used in this video, maybe not all the tech I've used, but the central pieces, all of that is linked in the video description. As always, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you again soon.